What is up, my aesthetic boys? It's Fresh, back with another video. Today we have a storytime episode of TIFU, and well, if you don't know the acronym already, you'll understand pretty soon. I hope you enjoy. Today I messed up by being too good at my job. So this has happened over the last month and a half, coming to a head yesterday. I started a new job, admin, about a month and a half ago. I do pretty basic administrative work, check deposits, filing, follow-ups, etc. It's a full-time gig and it might take me half of the day to do all my duties. I don't know who had this job last, but they've messed around a lot. I try to mess around and I still get things done super fast. This has led to frustration for me and my supervisor because I run out of things to do and I have to interrupt her work so she can find things for me to do. By the way, I am not the kind of person where I enjoy getting paid to do nothing. Sure, it's nice on occasion, but not half of the day, every single day. Fast forward to yesterday. I ask my supervisor if there's anything I could work on and she asks me to shut the door. She asks how I feel about getting my hours cut. Not just by a few hours. She's thinking me being there for 25 hours per week. That's significant. Moral of the story, don't do your best because you will get punished for it. Now, despite the name of the story and, well, the subreddit for that matter, I don't think that OP's the one who messed up here. Really, this one goes on the boss, because that is no way to run a company. If your employee is being more efficient, you need to either continue paying them the same, but allow them to leave early or work fewer hours, or you give them more work to do and probably pay them more. Cutting their hours to do the exact same amount of work is definitely not the answer. That's how you lose employees. Today I messed up by accidentally blowing up my mother's kitchen. It wasn't today, it was almost 40 years ago, around 1980. I think if this happened today, it would have certainly been on the news, but I grew up in an age where you could actually make mistakes and probably not have your life ruined. That's not to say my life didn't absolutely suck for a while as a result of this idiocy. It was summer and my completely disengaged single mother was itching to have a vacation. She was going somewhere exotic with her current, married, boyfriend, and really didn't want or need me, 13, or my sister, 12, along for the festivities. Both of us found friends' houses to stay at, but I had made some plans. These plans were not sanctioned. Before my mom's trip, I took the screws out of a bathroom window latch. The window was never used, so nobody would notice. This made entering the house while my mom was on vacation pretty simple. My friends and I had been making fireworks that year. It's not that dangerous if you're careful, and we were extremely careful about it. We probably fired off at least 50 beautiful variations of fountains and sculptures with pretty colors. That was fun. Well, we are also making these huge smoke bombs around this time. Smoke bombs are essentially saltpeter, potassium nitrate, sulfur, and sugar. You combine it in the right quantity and then slowly heat it up until it melts into a goo. You shape the goo into a ball and stick a fuse in it. Voila! Smoke bomb. Our plan was to invade my mom's house while it was empty and cook up a batch of special smoke bombs. Our brilliant idea was to make smoke bombs that also threw off a shower of colors or sparks. With fireworks, it's simple. The colors are determined by ingredients. Add some iron fillings for white sparks, for example. Well, we decided a big smoke bomb with white sparkles would be the first experiment. Late on the afternoon of the first day my mother was gone, we broke into the house and started cooking. Everything was going to plan. The kitchen was starting to stink up with the familiar smell of sulfur as we heated the concoction on the stove. It was a nice stove. Brand spanking new, in fact. My mom had just that week completed a nice kitchen remodel, so everything was new. The floor, the ceiling, fancy lights everywhere, the counters, the cabinets. Everything new. So there we were, cooking. Little did I know, at the time, that adding an oxidant, iron fillings, to our nifty smoke bomb recipe gave it that magic kick. It meant we were actually cooking white gunpowder on the stove. More than a pound of it, too. My friend had to attend to the call of nature, so he was sitting on the bathroom toilet destroying the paint in there. You have to heat up the mixture slowly, so we had time. I sat there watching the mixture, stirring it as often as necessary. It slowly started to congeal and turn into the goo we were looking for. Then, it happened. First, like a tiny shooting star, a spark flew out of the big coffee can on the stove. I yelled out to my buddy, "Hey man, I think we have a problem." Then 3 more shooting stars. I was a little terrified. Then, like Mount St. Helens, it went off. A column of fire like I've never seen erupted from the stove and torched my mother's brand new kitchen. The house didn't burn down. My friend and I got it tamped out. I'm not going into the rest of the story, as it all ended up with me moving out and never living with my mother again. A blessing, to be honest. All of this happened before I passed AP Chemistry. Lol. I mean, it was the 80s. They probably picked up the ingredients for the smoke bomb while running down to the local 7-Eleven to grab some cigarettes for their grandpa, as long as they got home before dark. Today I messed up by not wearing underwear to work. This definitely happened today, though I wish it hadn't. A bit of backstory: this morning the apartment's fire alarm went off, so we all had to clear out for a bit. In my haste, I skipped putting on underwear. I decided to take a nap a while later, and when I woke up, I decided to just go to work without remedying the underwear situation. It's only a 5-hour shift, I thought. It'll be fine. I get to work, everything is fine. Happy hour starts, we're prepared for the worst. I'm sipping my water in the back briefly and reach down to adjust myself. Imagine my horror when I touch my entire ball sack. I've never been so alarmed to touch my own balls. My pants at some point had ripped clean down the middle, and the boys, trademark, were out and about. I had to explain that I was having a wardrobe emergency and ran to call my roommate, who thankfully showed up with a new pair of pants and underwear. It was a long 45 minutes that I just had to pretend my balls weren't enjoying the draft. Honestly, the only takeaway that I have from this story is that if the boys isn't already trademarked, it really should be. Today I messed up by putting all of my students in an in-school suspension. Context: I work at a youth rehab, kinda like a charter school, but depressing, and my job is to watch them and make sure they don't get in trouble. This being rehab, if anything goes missing, you have to lock down a dorm until it's found. I had to get a ride to work because I forgot to change the coolant in my car and it broke down and got booted, and I didn't have the money to fix it or get the boot off because I spent it all on toys. So once I get to work, I took the students outside to play kickball because it's a sunny day for once, and I decided to join them. So I take all my stuff out of my pockets and place it in my bag, leaving the zipper open for God knows what reason. After the game is ended, I take them back upstairs and they are allowed some personal time to play games and listen to music. At this point, they ask me for the controllers, which are in a locked room. So I look for my keys, but I can't find them. Now, I'm trusting, so I check my bag and retrace my steps, but I cannot find my keys anywhere. So, following procedure, I move all the students to a detention area and begin asking questions. Meanwhile, we have to check the security feed, search rooms, perform strip searches, and so on. This takes 10 hours involving every staff member and all 40 students. On top of that, they were supposed to go and see a movie that day and get pizza due to good behavior, but they couldn't because they were in suspension. One student was unfortunate enough to have scraped his knee next to my bag on footage and ended up getting grilled and accused for half the day. They all ended up having to sleep in the detention area that night. Anyway, I went home, and there on my desk are my keys. I don't want to go back to work tomorrow. Was it a mistake? Yes, but again, it was a mistake. It may have had harmful ramifications and really inconvenienced and disappointed some of these students, but OP, I'm sure there's a way that you can make it up to the students. Mistakes happen, everyone makes them. I'm sure everyone will understand. Just give them the pizza and the movie they deserved and a wholehearted apology. Today I messed up by almost drowning a child. No, this was when I was like 6, but whatever. It was my birthday party, and my parents decided to throw a pool party for me and invited all the kids in the apartment I lived in. It all went nice when I noticed a kid who I hadn't seen go into the pool, so me being the intelligent kid I was, I'm not, pushed this kid in the deep end of the pool. Note, I didn't know this kid, nor was I a bully of any sorts. I was like the most innocent child you can imagine. Then I saw the kid not resurfacing from the pool and his parents screaming. Thankfully, the kid wasn't in there for long, but was in there long enough to have to perform CPR. I was obviously confused because I thought everyone could swim. My mom taught me to swim by age 4, so it was kind of instinctive. Luckily, the kid didn't have any serious damage to him. The day ended with me not getting my presents for about a month and learning a valuable lesson. Don't push children into the pool. Today, I messed up by being banned by Google developer for life. This happened years ago, August 20th, 2014 to be precise. Back in the early days of Android, 2012, I used to make stupid little applications. Never anything malicious. One was something I called stickers. The idea was teenagers would pay 99 cents to have a sticker on their home screen. I love boys, I hate school, 420, etc. You could make them open another app. Instead of a Facebook icon, you could have a I love boys, and that opens Facebook. Some were a bit vulgar, including swears with dollar signs saying you, but that was the worst of it. There was a few others I published, Blackjack Strategy Card, God Detector, etc. Nothing ever malicious, just what I did for fun on the weekend. They did actually sell, maybe a few $100s a year. Nothing to retire on, but did cover my cell phone purchases at the time. Fast forward a couple years, naturally I lost interest and moved on in life. As well, my personal Gmail account is not something I actively monitor. Unless I'm expecting mail, I don't really check it. It's full of spam and just an onslaught of junk every day from every site I've signed up for since 2005. Unfortunately for me, Google had started sending me emails about my applications in 2014. The Google Play Store has evolved substantially since the early days. Google wanted developers to update with better images, videos, information, accept developer policies, etc. I never saw any of these emails and therefore did not comply. It was not until last year I realized I was banned when I had the urge to make another stupid application. Again, nothing malicious, but it's just fun to make things. Most people can access this page, this developer Android link. I, however, cannot. I am redirected to a page informing me that I am no longer allowed to access this. Eventually, I searched through my mails and found the faithful email chain, starting August 12, 2014 and ultimately ending on August 20th, 2014, informing me I had been suspended for not complying to the development policy. I tried to repeal it from the page telling me I was banned. Unfortunately, I quickly got an automated response saying, "My account is not eligible to be reinstated." This led me to Googling about being banned from Google. It seems these bans are for life. If I was to attempt to make a new account, Google would figure that out because Google. Then ban that one. Seriously, Google about being banned by Google. It's for life. I must say it feels quite harsh, but if nothing else, be a lesson for anyone else dabbling with Google Developer. Don't ignore mails from Google. I do understand that he didn't check his email and hence Google was able to ban him from the developer process, but at the same time, it feels awfully harsh from Google's perspective. At the end of the day, it was a mistake, and in my opinion, a fairly benign one. If something about the apps wasn't compliant, Google could have easily removed them from the App Store and continued pushing for correspondence with the developer, instead of just 6 days later, banning them entirely from any future use of that developer suite. Today I messed up by not living up to my own name. I run a modestly sized YouTube channel that in part is built on a demanding schedule of daily uploads. With a lot of other things going on at the same time, it can be hard to juggle all the responsibilities, but I generally make it work. At least, I did. I was going on a trip that would keep me away from my regular recording and editing setup for 6 days spanning 7 uploads, and yet, I only prepared 3 videos in advance. This left me on the hook for a full 4 uploads while away. Things got off to a rocky start almost immediately when my laptop stopped working the first day of the trip. Fortunately, I was able to borrow one from a friend, but it left me in a bit of a pickle nonetheless. Then, the problems with editors started piling on. Delivery timing issues, combined with editing continuity issues and a less than ideal mic setup, created a perfect storm of problems. Once I factored in a Wi-Fi signal so weak that it took over 3 hours to upload a 15-minute video, I was certainly having a horrible, no good, very bad day. But there always has to be a takeaway. I definitely learned that I'd rather not upload than upload a video of poor quality, and that goes for mic quality as well. I've got a lot of things planned for my modestly sized YouTube channel, though, and I'm looking forward to sharing them with all of my viewers very soon. After all, they are the most aesthetic community out there. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Be sure to subscribe for more daily Reddit content. Drop a like if you liked the video, and I will see you all tomorrow.